To call the Tuesday, January 15, 2013, City of Oldsmar Council meeting to order. Our invocation, our pledge will be led by our City Attorney, Mr. Tom Trask, and at this time I'd ask you to please join us in rising.
Father in heaven, we seek blessings on the tasks before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. We gather to make decisions for our community. May we use only our best skills and judgment, keeping ourselves impartial and neutral as we consider the merits and pitfalls of each matter that is placed before us, and always act in accordance with what is best for the City of Oldsmar and our fellow citizens. This we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, I'd like to welcome everybody here this evening. Our first item on our agenda tonight is our Citizens Open Forum, and this gives anybody in the audience an opportunity to address the council if they so desire. We've only got a few requests. One, I respectfully ask that you keep your comments to no more than 5 minutes. Second, please don't speak towards anything that's on tonight's agenda. And last, when you come up to the podium, please state your name and address for the record. And with that said, I see we have Mr. Walters here today. Mr. Walters, would you like to address the council, sir?
You mean that guy that said he was never coming back?
Retired?
I'm really only here for number 19, Jerry Walters, 1108 Robinwood Drive. The one, actually, there's two things that I did want to address in particular. I guess we're going to be having over at our library, and I don't know if Bert's here tonight, but we're having our 5th anniversary of the Oldsmar Library, and I believe it's January 30th or the 31st, one of the two. And of course, it's going to be a big event, and the Friends of the Library are kind of doing a small part in that particular adventure. And it's something that is really going to be, what do you call it, a special thing for the city. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is that for those of you who would be interested, we are having the Friends of the Library meeting this Thursday. I know that we're not that big an organization, but we do have a lot of people that come and attend, and I just wanted to open it up to anyone who was interested. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Walters. Anybody else want to address the council? Yes, Gabby.
Gabby McGee, 101 Buckingham Avenue West. I just wanted to announce on behalf of the Oldsmar Historical Society and Relay for Life that we're hosting another historical walk. It's this Saturday at 11 a.m. Here in this building downstairs at the Historical Society Museum. The walk's generally about an hour and a half long. There's going to be about 26 houses on the tour, 4 open for viewing, including this building, the Oldsmar Women's Club, my home, and the Yellow Bungalow from 1918 on Park Boulevard will be available for the tour. It's free of charge, but we are suggesting donations, any and all kinds, because the proceeds will 80% will benefit Relay for Life and 20% will benefit the Oldsmar Historical Society. If anyone has any questions, they can contact me or the Historical Society. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else want to address the council? Nope. Yes, Eric.
Eric Seidel, 114 Shore Drive Place, Oldsmar, Florida. I had a question. Many years ago, we helped co-fund a study on the bay, and I think it was with Safety Harbor, on what's caused some of the sediment damage in the bay. I was just curious if there had been any additional follow-up or efforts to try to do something with the data that we had collected.
Well, they came and did a report, what, about 7 months ago?
Oh, did they?
6 months ago?
Like that.
I missed that meeting. That was
Yeah, yesterday they came here and made a presentation to us. We can make that available, but I think the next phase was they were looking for how to get additional funding to start cleaning the bay. Is that what you recall?
Well, they were looking for funding to determine what to do next or evaluate
How to
the
clean the bay.
options.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they told us that they had identified it kind of, and that they now, like you said, what do we do with that? What are we gonna do?
The key word was kinda.
The RPC has picked it up too in their bay soundings. You know, I mean, they're concerned about it too, because when Neil Brickfield was on, you know, he and I sat next to each other, and so we brought that up, and they picked it up. So,
It's mostly funding.
Got it. Thank you.
Anybody else want to address the council? Anybody? Nobody else? I will close the citizens' open forum. We're going to get out of our city council agenda for a minute and go to the Community Redevelopment Agency. And we've got one item tonight, and that's a report on the street tree program. And is Lynn Reeves doing that? Are you doing that? Or
Mr. Reed's going to make the report, and he might have some other people to assist him, I'm not certain.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. Lynn Reeves, Leisure Services Director. I have representatives from TECO here and that take care of their forestry program, and Mr. Sullivan's also come along. Chip Turner's the forestry person. I have provided everyone with a handout of what we've done over the last, since we started this program in 2010. We went through the city and did an evaluation of all the trees that were in the CRA. And that's over 700 trees. And in 2010, we took down 6 trees and trimmed 4. 2011, we did trimming on 14 and took down 26. And then last year in 2012, we took down another 19. And in most cases, these trees, and I brought last year actually about this time, an example of the tree where the center was gone. And that's typically what's happened. In the past year, we've had just to give you some examples, we've had one of those large trees, limbs split in half and break and fall on a house. We've had a similar tree in someone's yard fall on the power lines. So, in looking at the bigger picture, we've opted to continue the program and look at all the trees each year. And if you look on your listing on the first page, the next list is that we're looking at removing are the ones in white just after the last orange colored tree that we removed in 2012 on the first page. So those are the next trees we're looking at. And in most cases, as I said, they're hollow. They may be green on the outside. They may look like they're, healthy trees. A good example is one in Veterans Park would be on the east side of the plaza. It's a big, huge tree, but it's hollow all through the middle. So that tree probably sometime this year will be taken down, unfortunately, because it loses limbs routinely. We've opted not to replant in the right-of-way, mainly because of the utility systems that are underground, and the right-of-ways in most cases aren't that great. And I've spoken to TECO, and they have a program called Right Tree for the Right Place, and even their setback is suggested for larger trees that it's 30 foot from the power lines. TECO typically comes through and does tree trimming, and they can expand on that a little more. Probably the most recent one I can remember is Lafayette Boulevard, and the trees were cut in an L shape to get them away from the power lines. Well, that again causes the tree to degrade when they're large. Most of the trees are about 80 years older, and they've completed their lifespan. Are there any questions for me?
yes, I have one for you. You said white down here, and then the
Yeah.
next page is practically all white.
Yeah, but what we do, we have a budget each year that we take down. It's $20,000 in the CRA that's budgeted.
No,
for
but
that.
what I'm saying is all these trees are gonna come down too?
No. We take them down and reevaluate them each year.
Oh, okay.
But the next
Scared me.
ones that are on the list, if you look at the first page here, the next one would be the
Baby.
tree 14. There's a couple on Bayview and St. Pete. Congress, there's some on East Jefferson. A lot of these trees are large, and if you look at the size of some of these trees, they're upwards in the 100 inches or higher. So they've been here a very, very long time. And we don't just take them down because they're 80 years old, we take them down because we evaluate them to see if they're hollow and what have you.
Well, that type
We
of
know
tree
that.
is a water oak. It's kind of a.
It's a laurel oak.
The water oaks, they're a mixed breed of oak trees. They don't have the, I don't care what it says down there, I know what they are. They're not, they're not live oaks. And between 80 and 100 years, they're gone. They're gone.
Yeah.
It's what happened on Jefferson. It probably wasn't a tree problem, but it could have been. But they're also rooting up the sidewalks. But on Jefferson, they went down there and digging in there and planting something, and are going to plant something or digging something there, and went into our sewer system. You got to be careful.
Oh, you have to be very
in the
careful.
right of ways.
Right.
And so what you're
rights of
doing
way.
is the right thing to do.
And we have more and more stuff in our right-of-ways. Now we have fiber.
Rights of way.
Public Works has a lot of lines, sewer lines. The trees could be, the root balls and stuff could be rooted around those, or water lines. So,
Okay, now, the rights of way on Dartmouth, there are no power lines. So those can be replaced.
they're still in the right-of-way, and there's still utilities in that right-of-way.
You can park two semis next to each other from the sidewalk to the street. There's gotta be some room in there somewhere. We're a tree city.
And we plant a lot of
Gotta be
trees.
some-
We plant mainly in parks and public
But not in
property.
this neighborhood. And I have 30 names here on a petition. People want trees, they want their trees back. And the trees, it's not gonna help right now because they'll be small, but the trees were shading the houses. You couldn't, it's good for noise, it keeps the noise abated. It shades houses. All kinds of things. Our neighborhood is totally changed now. We just want a few trees back.
And what I would suggest is ask the neighbors to plant trees in their yard, not in the
Some of them
right-of-ways.
don't have yards big enough. They want them along the thing, so they can come over. We used to have my street was like an arbor. Everything came over like this. It was beautiful. It was, postcard type stuff. And a lot of the streets in the downtown were like that. And we just want some trees back, even if they're palm trees.
Your street is still like a postcard. It really is.
No, it really isn't. No,
It's
no,
beautiful
no.
down there.
Well,
You know that.
yeah, my street's not bad, but then, in fact, the tree across the street from my house, that keeps breaking off in pieces. I know you've been trying to save it. And there's a bunch of stuff laying on the parkway right now,
Okay.
so.
But that's typical of these trees. They're breaking off, a high wind comes, a section of it snaps off,
Yes,
and typically.
and there are power lines there.
And typically they're hollow.
And fall on somebody too.
Right.
Yeah, well, that
And they
tree's
have.
not hollow, but it does have some bad branches, and Brian has picked over it, and they did take some part of it down. They did,
Right.
some of it down, but I noticed when I was pulling out of the driveway the other day that because I was back in, and I noticed that there was a bunch of
But
laying on the.
But my recommendation is still not to put trees in the right-of-way.
I would like to say something too. I understand that these trees have huge root balls because I have them in my own yard and they really are intrusive. And I can understand how they get in the way of Verizon and whoever has everything under there. But if they've been there already for 80 years, the root balls could be removed and they could be replaced with something like palm trees that have very small root balls that are not intrusive. So I agree with Janice. I don't believe that we can replace all of them, obviously, because of all the technology that we have, but I do believe that we could do something. Palm tree root balls are tiny.
Understand that.
So what would be the argument against that from Parks Department perspective?
Well, my main concern, again, is we're digging in a right-of-way with lots of utilities. And if we hit those utilities, then we have people that plant trees throughout the city, on their property. And I'm all for that.
But the utilities wouldn't be where the massive root balls from these 80-year-old trees are.
And don't we have ground penetrating radar or whatever the heck they use to find? I know they use something electronic
Right,
to
and
find.
you wouldn't even have to remove the entire root system of the dead tree. You
Right.
would only have to remove enough to be able to plant a tree with a smaller root ball.
It's whatever the pleasure of the council. I mean, I don't have funding to replace trees. I can tell you that right now. Not in the right of way.
So every time, since these neighborhoods are old, my neighborhood's old. It is the old Oldsmar. And so you're telling me every time a tree goes bad, we're just going to take down trees, and before you know, we won't have any trees.
Well, we've talked to the neighbors. In a lot of cases, they've said, take the tree because they're afraid because a limbs fell in their yard or something of that nature.
Think that you're going to replace them.
Well, I don't think we've ever told anyone we're going to
You
replace
may not
them.
have told them that. You probably didn't even ask them if they were concerned about
Well,
them being
we've talked to the
replaced.
neighbors in a lot of the neighborhoods where we've taken trees down.
Well, we got 30 people here, and that's 30 different houses that want some of their trees back. And it's up to the council. It's not up to anybody but the council.
No, I agree. I don't believe that we could replace all of them. I do
No.
believe that technology has
No.
taken over. But I do think that if we lose all our trees on all our residential streets, we're going to look more like a subdivision than we are a
Exactly.
nice, small little town.
We're not saying that you not have trees. What we're suggesting is that
People
the
put them in their
homeowner takes
yards.
some responsibility and says, okay, I don't have my tree on, we'll use Councilmember Miller Street. I don't have my tree here. So maybe plant it in my front yard.
No, I agree with that too, but still,
yeah,
we're
you
going to
want it on
have
the-
bare
bare
medians,
parkways.
bare
Yeah.
roads, and it's
Yeah.
if they all eventually are going to die and we're going to take them down with no plan to do something. What
Well,
about
most-
something less intrusive like shrubbery or flowers or something to make it?
That's high maintenance.
High maintenance.
You
Too
don't
high
wanna get
maintenance,
into
okay.
that.
Well.
That's very high maintenance.
Okay, but now with 15 or 20 feet of, it's gotta be 20 feet, right? Between the sidewalk and the road? Gotta be. Easy. And you mean to tell me you let Verizon put their thing here and then several other feet, then you let Knowledge put their, they took it all up?
We only have a couple of streets like that. Buckingham happens to be one of them, and Dartmouth is not one of them. Buckingham happens to be, could be one. Most of the streets, the right-of-way is only like this. Most
Yeah,
of the
it's
streets
very
is
narrow
only
after
like
the
this.
sidewalk.
Buckingham?
Dartmouth, one of them.
What are you looking at? No, Buckingham has huge things on both sides of the
Not
street.
enough.
I'm talking
Gabby
between the sidewalk and the
And the road.
roadway. On most of the streets, it's
It's only like this.
very narrow.
But it isn't
Yeah.
like that on.
Not every street. I'm
Well,
not
those
saying
are the
that.
streets
Right,
then
so
that
maybe
they
we could have
should be.
right.
Most
Some of
of-
the streets somewhere.
All the streets have it like this, except Buckingham possibly. And I don't know of another one that has a large right-of-way, except Buckingham. But you can't park two semis side by side on the, but it's only Buckingham.
Well, that's where they took most of the trees down.
Okay, but the other streets, almost every other street in this town is this wide, from the street to the sidewalk. That is.
What's the
Jerry, I
timeframe to
lived there
take all
too.
these trees down on this list?
Well, it's not to take them all down. It's to evaluate them annually, and that's what we do. And we look at them. When we first did the list in 2010, we picked out some ones that were very dangerous. And basically what we do is go down the list, and you'll notice there's some further back in the pages that we found in places that were, we found them to be hollow, or a branch broke off in a storm, fell in someone's yard. Of course, they call the city and say, your tree
Yeah,
fell in
those
my
have
yard.
to come down.
So those need to come down. We're not saying we're taking 700 trees down. What we did was an evaluation of the trees within the CRA. And if you take the total against the 700, we've taken 50 trees down out of 700. And those are large trees in most cases.
Yeah, some of them are over 100 feet.
100.
Okay, if,
So the main problem is no funding to put less intrusive, smaller root ball trees in?
Well, and I would recommend still not to put trees in the right-of-way.
No, the main problem is most of the streets in the older part of town, and I'll walk anybody that wants to walk with me all over town. The right of way from the street to the sidewalk is only about this wide, except Buckingham.
But if there's trees there already that are coming down, they already have room for another
I have
tree.
trees in the right of way.
Oh, it's because it's on State Road 580.
No, I'm talking about replacing some of the trees that they're
The only
taking
trees
down.
we have in the right of way is probably Buckingham and maybe a few on Dartmouth. I don't know of any where
There's a lot of, there's a lot on Park and some of the older
Park.
streets.
Obviously,
But
there's
they
a
were-
lot of trees coming down, because this is a long list.
No,
Or not all of them are coming down. You're evaluating them, and then we
each
will
year
know.
we
Right.
evaluate what are the most dangerous of the list.
The ones on Park are on the other side of the sidewalk.
Some are and some aren't. As an example, at the corner of,
Oh,
what is that?
You have to
Park
think
and-
about it, there's not many.
that between
Ham, I think.
Buckingham and St. Pete Drive, you
Had
have big
a
trees
tree
the
on that
parkway.
corner come down during the storm.
But we did take 6 or 7 down and replace them with crepe myrtles, according to this list in May of 2012.
No, we didn't replace them with, we replaced them with crepe myrtles in public areas.
Oh, so that's not on the right of way.
What's the difference?
Well, it's going in a different place. It's not replacing the tree where it is. He's putting it somewhere else, where it's less
As an
intrusive.
example, here on State Street, the holly trees were in bad shape. They had been here, well, 12, 13 years, maybe longer. Bruce would probably have to tell me that, because they've been here longer than I've been here.
Early 90s.
Okay, and holly trees typically they don't survive long-term with some of the greenery on them. They aren't good on the state highway. We took those out of there, and it may have something to do with
And crepe
the environment.
myrtles are ugly.
I don't think
In
so.
the wintertime.
I have one in my yard.
Ugly.
Okay, during the winter, but,
But in the summertime, they're very pretty.
Beautiful.
So you get,
okay, a tulip tree then. I mean, I don't care what kind of tree you put up.
What
You
is
know,
what is the rule there? If you take a tree down, do you have to replace it? I know as a homeowner we have to.
We put, like I said, we put probably over the years, I'm just saying over the years, we probably put 1,000 trees in various places within the parks and stuff. I mean,
That's not on the parkways in neighborhoods.
We're not gonna
Tampa
solve
Road,
anything
we put-
tonight.
We got to move on here.
Gonna solve anything.
Well, let's
tonight.
do something. I'm gonna make a motion.
A motion for what?
I'm gonna make a motion that they should be replacing some trees, especially on certain streets that have plenty of room for it.
You can't make a motion like that.
Why?
You gotta be more specific.
Well, this is really just a report anyway. This is on the agenda as just a report on the street program.
So what
we're
does
not
that do
taking
for,
any action.
so what does that do for my neighbors? Nothing.
What you gotta say, Bruce?
At this particular forum, this is just a report. I mean,
Okay, so what do you
council
wanna do
comments,
about
You
it?
can ask to
What do you wanna
put
do
it on
about
the
it?
agenda.
I thought that's why it was on the agenda. I know it's a report,
Yeah.
but I mean, we already had one before. I mean, how many reports do we need before we
I
get
give
to
you one
vote on
every
it?
year to tell you what we've done in the year. That's what I've done that the last 3 years.
Can I ask a quick question and then a comment, and I'll try and keep it to 2 sentences?
You've been waiting for that one.
That's a good one.
A question, just so I understand this next batch, the white ones here on the page. You're saying that, because it says remove/not dangerous, the next step is to evaluate those trees and determine whether to leave them alone?
In the original evaluation, those were slated for time to keep evaluating, and they were set up for possible removal. You'll see trees that just say, remove dead wood, which is the majority of the trees. It's just the trees that we find that are hollow, or in some cases, a storm comes and breaks a branch and it falls in someone's yard, and then they want that tree gone.
And I guess then my comment, and I agree, I think the trees and the tree-lined streets in our city and other cities, I grew up in the Midwest, and the boulevards are beautiful. I do understand the concern with the right-of-way. I think that's a very big concern. Yes, there might be isolated places where you can put 1 or 2 trees, But I appreciate your comment in the fact that, and I guess my question is, if the people want a tree that bad, whether it's 5 feet inside the right-of-way or 5 feet outside the right-of-way, as big as these canopies are, 10 feet is not going to make a huge difference down the road. I mean, and if they want a big tree, I don't think 5 or 10 feet, one way or another, is going to make a difference.
Well,
We
most
have-
of the trees anyone would replant in their yard are probably
Whoa, we
10 to
have,
12 feet.
we have
at the-
50-foot lots. And we have 50-foot lots. You're gonna put a tree, in your front yard, and it's gotta be close to the sidewalk, and there goes the sidewalk in a few years.
Well, it's close to the sidewalk if you put it in the right-of-way.
Put it out as far as you can.
You don't know where the utilities are. I mean, and I can guarantee you, they're all not
And
bundled.
find out where the utilities are.
I'm sure they're not all bundled together in one nice little area.
I will tell you, a
Yeah,
few
nobody
years
thought of
ago,
that.
we had a program where we offered residents, we did it as a service. I guess that's probably been.
Gave trees away?
No, we didn't give them away. We offered residents a way to purchase a tree, but it had to be planted in their yard. And that was probably 10, 12 years ago, Bruce.
It was a little-
We had that program.
Before that, yeah.
And
Remember that.
it was kind of received with mixed results. We did it for 2 or 3 years, and then because there wasn't any big outcry to do that, so we were able to buy the trees at a discounted level.
I mean,
That's an idea to
and,
do that again.
and to Linda's point about a subdivision, I live in a subdivision.
Sorry. No offense against everyone that lives in subdivisions. They're great.
Open mouth, insert foot.
I do that a lot.
And so does Jim, and as much as I'd love to see Bay Arbor Boulevard look like a boulevard with trees, I certainly don't want all of our sidewalks all busted up and all of our utilities, and so
But it
that's
takes
why we don't
years.
allow it. We barely allow flowers around your mailbox. So
Oh, my.
Let me see, does TECO want to say anything? I know we've got representatives from TECO.
You'd have to come up here, Chip.
Oh, he's just gonna poo-poo it. He's the arbor guy.
I'm Chip Turner. I'm a supervisor of right-of-way maintenance with Tampa Electric. Lynn had asked me to come talk to him, and basically Tampa Electric doesn't take a side either way. Tampa Electric supports the Right Tree, Right Place program. On our website, I did provide Lynn some copies of our website that gives recommendations for setback distances of trees by various sizes. They're in small, medium, and large. And this is reference material for all of our customers, just as a reference for recommended planting distances from a Tampa Electric perspective.
is it, I guess,
Thank you.
Lynn, is it possible, I guess, maybe as a next effort in those particular areas, I don't know where they are, that Janice has mentioned, is it possible to identify where the utilities are and see if it's even feasible? I mean, I don't know if I'm not saying that that's the way to do it. I kind of agree with you, but, let's see, can you park 2 semis in there, and are the utilities spaced such that, and I don't really know what the distance, maybe the TECO people know as to what is the distance between the utilities to plant a tree? I wouldn't even know.
TECO's, and he only had a few copies of it, but we passed that out. He gives some explanations, large trees, they suggest 30-foot setback, because they grow up and get in the power lines. And then what happens is, kind of what happened on Lafayette a few years ago, and it's not anything against TECO, but they had to clear the power lines, and the tree service came in, and we had a L in the trees because the trees were in the power line. And those were even on private property. They weren't in the right of way.
Okay, we tell people to call a particular number and find out before you dig, before you put up a fence
Yes.
and blah, blah, blah. So if they can find out where things are, power and sewer and all that jazz, I don't see why we can't.
Wait a minute. We need to move on, but look, the big thing here is not what's underneath the ground with TECO or with Verizon or anything else. That's not the real problem here. I mean, I don't know why we even brought that up. The problem, you didn't bring it up, did you?
No.
The problem is that the right-of-ways on almost every street in this town, from the roadway to the sidewalk, is like this. It's like this. We're only talking about one street, maybe 2 streets, and it's been 30 minutes talking about 2 streets in this town.
Well, my street's like that too. I have a large right of way.
Yeah, you
And my
do.
point is valid. If you're taking a tree down, there's not impediment of the lines at the present moment, so you could plant another tree there.
Absolutely.
If you do that, do it in
was
front
been
of
my
your
point.
house then. Do it in front of your house so it doesn't reach into houses on either side of you.
And
I
that's
thought-
what I would
I thought we were
suggest, that you
supposed to be
do it in
representing the people
on your
here.
property.
On your property, not in the right of way.
Right.
Not in these little lots.
Why?
They're too little. They're too little. People already have.
Well, they're bigger than the right-of-way.
Yeah, they're bigger than.
But why can't we have smaller trees that don't have bigger? I mean, just something. Put something back.
Yeah, but I don't know the culture.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Only in Oldsmar.
Just a report only, so. We're getting out of the Community Redevelopment Agency, going back into our council agenda. Our first item on the council agenda is our consent docket. Today, we've got 3 items: approved payment to legal counsel. Second is authorize the city manager advertise for bids for the water reclamation facility Headworks bar screen replacement. And the last item is to authorize the city manager to advertise for bids for the purchase of carbon dioxide for the reverse osmosis water treatment plant. Does anybody wish to pull or question anything?
Nope.
I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Motion on a second. Is that a motion second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I think it was 5-0. I only heard 3 votes. Next up under City of Oldsmar is the presentation of the January 2013 Service Awards, and Mr. Haddock is going to be presenting those.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We were scheduled to have 3 presentations this evening. Sue Farrell is unable to attend tonight's meeting, so we'll do hers later. Tonight, I'm going to go in order of seniority, and the first presentation is to Mike Barrow.
Oh, he won the what's his name? Yeah.
How much you got left?
I'm trying to make.
How much you got left?
I'm just going to get a roll call.
I've got 77.
See if it's still on. So, who'd you bring with you tonight, Mike?
My son, Michael, my aunt, Marianne, my dad, Al, and my wife, Dana.
Well, we probably would like them to come up here, wouldn't we? Yeah. I thought so too. So come on.
I'll come up there.
Well, first and foremost, there's a check that goes along with this, so let me hand that over to you.
That goes to Dana.
This service award is in recognition for 15 years of service to the City of Oldsmar, presented to Mike Barrow, 1998 to 2013. Go ahead and take that. Mike's a mechanic in the Fleet Maintenance Division in Public Works, and I know you've worked there for these last 15 years. And also, if you recall seeing Mike on television recently, he was here last year as one of the recipients of the Brunson Schreckenkost Award, weren't you? So you got that award in 2012, and now you're getting your service award in 2013. Who knows what 2014 might bring you?
Oh, you better.
Right. So,
Bruce, that's for taking care of the 1901 Oldsmobile.
well, we got a lot of stuff to take care of, and in fleet maintenance, there are 2 employees. So right here is 50% of the operation. They do a fabulous job. We do have a lot of equipment, everything from lawnmowers and chainsaws to 10-wheel dump trucks and heavy excavators. So on this occasion of your 15th anniversary, it's a chance for us to say thank you. We appreciate the work that you do, and we're happy that we can just give you some acknowledgement this evening and let you know that we appreciate keeping the wheels rolling.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Mike, you're going to get in the picture. Mike, get in the picture.
The director up there?
Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations.
And the second award this evening is presented to Deborah DeChant. DeChant. First of all, here's the check that goes along with the service award. In recognition for 10 years of service to the City of Oldsmar, presented to Deborah DeChant, 2003 to 2013. So you take that. And Debbie works in the finance division in the administrative services department. And I think that you've worked there for the 10 years, right?
I did.
And I've had the opportunity on a couple occasions to spend a little time with Debbie, and when I go around, and sometimes I work with employees, and sometimes they have jobs I can't do, so I just watch what they do. But you can learn some things doing that too. But every job is important and necessary and provides some service and functions. And there's a lot of our folks that are pretty visible because they're out with the public every day. And then there's others. And actually, Mike isn't all that visible. He works in fleet and he doesn't really have a lot of interaction with the public. And Debbie has kind of one of those jobs. But the very important function, there's others, that she does is she pays the bills. And last time I checked, nearly all of the vendors wanted to get paid, and they wanted to get promptly. Is that still the case?
Yes, checks in the mail.
So that's a little bit about what Debbie does and keeping the city running and keeping us functioning. And just like at home, paying the bills is important. And that's not the only thing she does, but I just wanted to share that with the folks tonight. And again, we're happy that we can recognize you on your 10th anniversary and let you know that we appreciate the work that you do and just offer our congratulations on a decade of service to the City of Oldsmar. Thank you. Oh, picture.
She's always quiet down the halls, too.
She's quiet.
Mike was so excited. He's already gone. He went to cash that check or something. So Deborah, congratulations. 10 years is quite a milestone, and we want to congratulate you and thank you for your hard work here in the City of Oldsmar. Next up we've got is presentation of the Council Manager Award, going to be done by Councilmember Norris.
This is my favorite part of being on the council. Every month I don't know if it's every month. Is it every month? Every month. We alternate, and we each get to pick who gets this award when it's our turn. And it's hard because you want to give it to somebody and you have to look at the list and they already got it. And it's like, you got to think about people. But these two people I didn't have to think about for very long at all because they've been a part of this community for 16 years. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of reading. It's Barry and Tracy Sullivan, and they've been in Oldsmar for 16 years, and they have 4 sons, and I don't believe this. One of them is 25.
Linda, have them come up.
Oh, yeah, see, I got to do what Bruce does. Did you bring any of your sons? Come on. Which one?
This is Josiah.
Josiah. Come on up. Oh, you smell good. Come on all up. Come on. This is an honor. Okay. And one of the reasons why I picked them for the award this month is because I believe that on top of our regular day-to-day jobs and everything that we do for our community, that faith and charity are 2 things that are very important in our daily lives in order to give back. And these 2 embody both of those qualities. They started, they've started 3 different churches. One of them was Spirit Harvest Church, and they pastored that themselves for 6 years, and it used to meet in the Oldsmar Senior Center. It was during that time that they helped bring the city's pastors together weekly for prayer and began a monthly gathering of area youth groups called Oldsmar United, and 8 years later, that group is still meeting. Now, do your sons have something to do with that?
Well, yeah, they attend.
They attend, yeah. And we all hear about Oldsmar Cares. It's a wonderful charity and an organization here in Oldsmar, but you don't always hear about the other organizations that help with food and clothing and needs of the community, and these 2 do that as well. In 2008, the Sullivans blended their church in with Rock Church of Tampa Bay, helping to strengthen that congregation's vision of reaching Oldsmar with the same love of God. Barry functioned as youth pastor, and Tracy led the worship until last year when they stepped down, allowing their son Caleb to be raised up in their place. So now he's in charge.
Yeah, he does the youth and helps with worship as well.
Oh, see, I got to learn how to do this.
Yeah, he's the youth pastor there now and helps with worship as well.
Wonderful. And then another thing is the community events that you do, the Fallen Soldiers Memorial with music and prayer. And you wrote a book, The Justice Revolution, which it's about challenging teens and young adults to look at the injustices of the world in a unique way, and has already sold almost 6,000 copies nationwide. Congratulations. And this is one of my favorite things that you do. For 12 years, the Sullivans have also served as Oldsmar's National Day of Prayer coordinators. Each year on the first Thursday of May, they gather the congregations from around the city to the steps of City Hall for a time of worship and focus on prayer for the community, businesses, and families. This is all so cool. And okay, their sons are Noah, 15, Josiah, 18, Caleb, 21, and Andrew, 25. So, and then another little thing is that they really like to play music. They all play musical instruments. And the last thing that they told me, and I didn't even know this about y'all, is our ultimate goal and dream is to start an IHOP. But not what you think. International House of Prayer here in Oldsmar, which is a non-denominational location for a 24/7 worship and prayer covering the city and the region. Now, I also would like to say that no matter what the city event that we have, some citizens come to a lot of them, like no matter what it is. And Tracy and Barry are at almost all of them. And Tracy takes a lot of pictures. If you go on our website, you'll see that she wins the award a lot because she takes such great pictures. So you're not only involved in the faith of the community, helping in the community, you're involved in city events and everything. So you guys really deserve this award. And it is my pleasure to give it to you. You're not shy, so I know you'll. I don't know. Here.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate this, Councilwoman Norris and the council and Bruce. It really is an honor for all of you, all of us who've lived here in Oldsmar for a while. We just, you want to just invest in the community. And that's just what we've done. We love the community. We wanted to invest our family into the community these last 16 years. And we've just been serving mostly on the spiritual side and helping to raise up the young people and encourage the young people and then bring the prayer to the city. And May 2nd, we'll be back out there, the City Hall steps for the National Day of Prayer. And just want to invite you all to come out and be a part of that. So, Tracy?
I think that the city of Oldsmar deserves an award because, I can't find the words exactly to say. This city is like the best city I've ever known. And my family grew up in Crystal Beach, and I kind of feel like Oldsmar was that redemptive quality in my life because it just worked out that, we moved here, we did ministry here, and when I was younger, I always thought, well, I'm going to grow up in Crystal Beach maybe someday, and my kids will grow up there, and that just didn't work out. And I just saw that God had a bigger plan for my life, and Oldsmar is just in my soul. I just can't describe it, but from the council to Bruce and just all the relationships that we've made, everybody is so kind and gracious, and the city has an excellence about it. You guys have raised the bar and you keep it that way. And I just pray that it continues and grows and is blessed. Thank you.
They're also Citizens Academy graduates. Yes, they sure are. They sure are. No.
Are you gonna get us all in? Okay, let's get them all in. Come up here, if you're short, you can come up in front of us.
That wouldn't have been good. Again, Barry and Tracy, congratulations. And Tracy, we appreciate your kind comments. Thank you. Next up, we've got consider the reappointment of John O'Connor to the Leisure Service Advisory Board. John. Hey, I thought I saw you. John, I know you've been up before us before, so I'll just give the quick spiel. A number of years ago, the council decided we were putting people on boards and we didn't know who a lot of them were, so we wanted to be able to see you look you in the eye before we appointed anybody on boards. As I said, you've done this before, so as always, we want to thank you for your service on this board. It's one of the more important boards here in the city of Oldsmar. And I don't have any questions for you. I don't know if anybody on council does. I don't know if you have any for me.
I just think it's great that you want to step forward. We say this often, that we wouldn't be able to do what we do without you guys volunteering, definitely. So thanks.
That's right.
It's a good learning opportunity, and it's a great experience. I've enjoyed it, so I'm happy to continue.
And we appreciate you doing it. Need a motion to reappoint John to the board.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Got a motion second, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, John. Next up, we've got consider the appointment of Eric Seidel to the firefighter pension board. I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor?
Same spiel.
Ditto.
Next.
He was on the
Actually, your feet's going to go to the fire, I guess. You got a big hearing coming up, and we had a member resign that's no longer living in the city. So we appreciate you wanting to fill in at the last minute. It's an important meeting coming up. I don't know if you have any questions for us. I don't have you, and I know where to find you if I do.
I have a lot of reading to do, and
Yeah,
we'll be prepared for the meeting.
I heard it was like 900 pages.
Right.
Wow.
Need a motion to appoint Eric to the firefighter
moved.
pension board. Need a second?
Second.
Got a motion second, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Opposed? Congratulations, Eric.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next up, we've got city attorney, and
I don't have anything, thank you.
we've got a whole lot of stuff for you at the next meeting now, huh?
I see that.
Okay, next up is city manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The next item, authorize the city clerk to schedule public hearings on the Wellington Estates development agreement. We're at the point in the process where I will be recommending that the council adopt the development agreement. This evening is not a full-blown presentation. We'll not be making a staff presentation. I did ask the applicant to come, and he'll make a brief 10-minute presentation to give an overview on the project for the council's benefit and the public. And then at the conclusion of that presentation, I would ask that council, by motion, authorize the city clerk to schedule public hearings. The first one, I believe, would be at the next meeting on February 5th. And at that time, you would receive a full presentation from the staff and the applicant on the development agreement. So this is just an introduction and overview of it. So the applicant, I know, is here this evening, and he can share with you, like I said, just an overview of the project. It's Chris Conkle.
Welcome, Chris.
Manager, Mayor, Council. I am Chris Conkle. I am a development manager with Barclay Group. We are real estate developers that develop public shopping centers, C-stores, both here in the southeast, and also we have an office in Arizona that does regional shopping centers and have been in business since 1982. We have taken a project that has been probably before you once before, called Heroes for Hope, And I am purchasing the land from the previous landowner to develop a 30-lot residential subdivision, which has been designed by Avid Engineering, who is behind me, Pete Pensa and Rick Chowdhury, and they will speak briefly regarding the engineering aspects of the project. The previous project was more of a medium price point, I think roughly $150,000 price point. I have a package that I will leave with you just so that you can review it, but I am actually developing the land, purchasing and developing the land, and putting all the horizontal infrastructure in. And then MI Homes will be the home builder, which I'll leave you the package. You can see some of their elevations that they're planning on building within the community. I will be more than happy to answer any questions regarding the development, and my team, Pete Pensa and Rick Chowdhury from Avid Engineering, will be kind enough to do the same. And I'll leave this just so you have an idea of what type of elevations the homes will be. The new homes will have a price point of mid-300s and probably crest at mid-400s. And based on the current development of the project, the lot sizes will be 65 feet wide by 120 foot deep. So if you have any questions of me, I'll be more than happy to answer them. And
I would just make the comment that we're very appreciative that you want to bring a $10 million project to the city of Oldsmar.
Absolutely.
I'll ditto that.
Yep.
They're nice.
And I think the neighbors will love it too.
Do you have any, I do real estate for a living, and I mean, I have my own opinion, but from the new construction side, obviously you wouldn't be doing this if you didn't think that that price point and this area would move. Is that what you're seeing? There's a demand for that?
Well, I think if you look at what's happened down at Mobley Bay with Meritage taking that community over from the previous developer, you see some veracity picking up in that subdivision. Of course, those price point of those homes begin at $500,000 and they're cresting into the $800,000 range. The nice thing that I've been able to do here is to take a piece of land that obviously has intrinsic value to both myself and to the city, and we've been able to redesign it so that we can bring up what I believe is a more affluent product and price point to the neighborhood. The previous price point obviously being in the mid-150s, we've been able to team with a home builder, i.e. MI Homes, and look to put obviously a minimum starting price point in the mid-300s, and of course, like I had mentioned, cresting in the mid-400s. So we're excited about what we can do with the 12 acres. In addition to the development, I, as a developer, will be developing State Street for the city in conjunction with the overall concept plan of this development. And if you'd like, I'll have my engineers speak briefly regarding the dovetailing of the extension of State Street and the overall project itself. So give my engineers here a few minutes to speak as well. Thank you.
Rick Chowdhury with Avid Engineering. I've developed properties from South Florida, Naples, all the way up to Tampa on into Hernando County, both on the home building side as well as the engineering side. When Chris bought this project to us, we didn't feel it was really right in its current state. And we did a lot of planning on the project, came up with what we felt was a very nice cul-de-sac, 30-unit community, fits well within the existing community, and we've done a lot of work on the stormwater management, making sure all that's going to work on the positive side for the city. And we're just very happy to be working with Oldsmar, who's been very good to us and helping us. We have a lot of questions, obviously. We're not normally working in Oldsmar, but it's been a good experience.
When will you be done?
Appreciate your help.
When will you be done?
As soon as we get our site plan approved.
Hurry up.
Good evening. I'm Pete Pence. I'm the certified planner with Avid Group. I know some of you know me from projects I've had before you in the past. Obviously, we're a longtime firm in the community, being in Palm Harbor. I personally have been practicing planning in Pinellas County for the last 15 years or so. I was planning director at Largo and Indian Rocks Beach, so I've worked on both sides of the table doing development. Barclay Group's a great group to work with. I've done quite a few projects with them. They're definitely a quality developer. This could be a very positive project. The fact that it's a single-family development makes it a nice compatible project for the area. Working in with the extension of State Street, create some large stormwater pond opportunities with that as well. That'll make some nice recreation amenity areas. That'll be a good, nice open space component for the community too. I'm just looking forward to doing a nice quality project here in the community.
Excellent. It's going to be, I think it's going to be an outstanding project for the city.
Right. And just, we are in review. We do have the preliminary plat and site plan in, so we're hoping to get approvals as soon as we can.
Well, are y'all going to leave here with Marie and go downstairs and have a meeting?
We would gladly do so.
Well, I think what's going to happen is next is we're going to schedule the public hearings, and we'll see you guys on February 5th. Sound good?
I have a quick question, and not to bring up a tired subject, but it's 30 houses on 10, almost 11 acres, so they're going to be a little bit over a third of an acre a lot, and you are going to leave some trees, right?
Well, the idea, obviously, that's a very heavily treed site, and the idea, obviously, is that under the tree ordinances that are required by the city, we have to come up with a tree program, which we have done a tree survey. And in that tree survey, we will be keeping and buffering along the perimeter of the current project as many trees as we can save. And obviously, there's a tree replanting program that we've got to put in place, whether it be us, the developer, or the builder, that's required, obviously, according to your tree replacement program. So the idea with Avid's assistance in the tree survey that was conducted is that we'll be maintaining the 20-foot perimeter rear setback of the property lines and drawing a definitive tree saving program on the perimeter, and in conjunction with the houses that back up to us on Lafayette.
You will not cut any trees down?
Then in conjunction, if there's trees that the city wants off that parcel that are actually going to be coming off the parcel that they wish to come out and take, i.e. cabbage palms or any other trees that they feel as though they can save, they're certainly welcome to do that, and we can work with them in order to accomplish that as well. So, yes, the idea is to save as many trees and, of course, put together a tree program that will be inducive of the State Street extension along with the new subdivision itself.
So that's more concentrated on the perimeter, the actual inside.
Right. If you look at the site plan is heavily densified with the 30 lots and 2 retention ponds. So the ability is to save a lot of trees with a new street that'll obviously occupy that 30 lot subdivision. If you look at the site plan, when you get it in front of you, you'll see that there's probably going to be very few maintained and saved internally. So the idea of what I will conduct with my surveyors will be to save as many perimeter trees to create that buffering. Now, if you're familiar with property location, 2 parts of the property abut the Progress Energy open easement. So it's imperative that I can save and create some kind of a inclusive buffer on that particular area. And of course, the houses that front Lafayette currently.
Because we had a lot of citizens bring that up when the Adams project was going.
Well, the 20-foot buffer, they should leave all the trees in there.
Well, we'll talk about that when we get to that point then.
I mean, that place is.
I agree.
I used to own a lot in there, so that thing is just loaded on the perimeter, except the Florida Power.
Right. Okay, thank you, Chris.
What's your estimated timeframe to footers in the ground?
Well, if entitlement goes as we anticipate, I'm looking to start site work March 1st. And then in that time frame, I'm going to be starting actually the project from the rear from Wellington so that I can get into the subdivision earlier and start on the first 5 model lots for MI so they can begin their models. I would expect that the first houses will be available by January 1st. Now, they'll try to obviously pre-sell, so the idea is to get into that site as quickly as I can to start the lot subdivision. And then, of course, State Street will complete before they're even vertical. So I think in working with Bruce and planning, we've devised a way of starting the site obviously from Wellington and coming in from the backside, which of course enables me to get into the site quicker, clearing it quicker. So given today, we're looking at January as that.
It's exciting.
Those first COs.
Sure is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be in front of you, I think, shortly on another project in the city, a 72-unit townhouse project as well.
Yep, we're looking forward to having that discussion as well.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I need a motion to authorize the city clerk to schedule the public hearings on Wellington Estates Development Agreement.
So moved.
Got a second?
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mayor and council, item 10, authorize the city attorney to prepare, well, it'll be actually 2 ordinances for a land use amendment. from the county designation of industrial limited to city land use designation of industrial limited, and a rezoning ordinance from county zoning IPD industrial plan development to city zoning designation of M1 limited manufacturing. This is for the Techni-Car property located at 450 Commerce Boulevard that we annexed into the city last year. And as is the case with all annexations, subsequent to the annexation, we apply city land use and zoning categories to the property. No change in land use. Of course, you all know it's developed already with the Techni-Car business. So tonight I am requesting that you authorize the city attorney to prepare a land use ordinance and rezoning ordinance for 450 Commerce Boulevard.
Okay, I need a motion for the land use ordinance and the rezoning.
So moved.
Have a second? Got a motion second. Any questions? Just basically a housekeeping measure. It's going to be changed again once the county changes all their land uses.
That's right.
Got the motion second, all in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and council, the next item, authorize the city attorney to prepare an ordinance annexing 3621 Meriden Avenue into the city limits. This is a lot located in West Oldsmar. This is a voluntary annexation at the request of the property owner. Property it's in West Oldsmar, so I am asking that you authorize the city attorney to prepare an annexation ordinance for 3621 Meriden Avenue.
Okay, we like these. We need a motion for the 3621 Meriden Avenue.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Mayor and council, the next item, this is actually another lot in West Oldsmar located at 3665 Meriden Avenue. It is the same property owner. Again, this is a voluntary annexation at the request of the property owner. I'm asking this evening that you authorize the city attorney to prepare an annexation ordinance for 3665 Meriden Avenue in West Oldsmar.
Do these two properties allow us to be contiguous to other properties that we might not have been able to get before? Do you know?
Looks like it.
Good question.
Looks like this one
Might
does.
be. I think one of them does.
So we're going to reach out to them right away?
This one looks like it
Like
carries
tomorrow
around
morning?
the corner. Yeah, we'll approve him if he tells his neighbors, right?
Mr. Mayor,
The motion to authorize the
one at a time.
So moved.
3665, got the motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries also 5-0.
I think there are only 2 properties left on Meriden.
On that side?
And they're lots that are left,
Should be
and
able
then
to
we
get
have
those
the
in
whole street done.
That's good. Slowly.
It's coming.
One at a time.
Coming
Yeah.
along.
Yep.
Did you already vote on
We
that?
did.
Okay.
It was 5-0.
Okay. The next item is item number 13, authorize the city attorney to prepare ordinances amending sections of the Land Development Code and the Town Center Code pertaining to substantial improvements. I'd like to ask our Planning and Redevelopment Director, Marie Dauphiné, to give some additional background and information on this item. It is related to what sometimes is referred to as the 50% rule regarding improvements to existing properties.
I thought I was going to have, I'm Marie Dauphiné, Planning and Redevelopment Director. I thought we were going to have a PowerPoint, but I guess we're not. So
We don't need one.
No. Okay, as you know, we joined the National Flood Insurance Program in 1971, and as part of, there it is, okay. As part of the requirements of joining the NFIP, we are required to enforce certain FEMA regulations. Some of these FEMA regulations include requirements for structures such as elevating them in the special flood hazard area or bringing pre-firm or non-conforming structures into compliance with the current NFIP rules. A pre-firm or non-conforming structure, that is a structure that was built prior to 1974. We joined the NFIP in 1971. But it's either 1971 or 1974 whenever we had our rate map. And anything before that is considered pre-firm or non-conforming. So that's what we're really talking about tonight as far as the 50% rule with regard to non-conforming structures. So FEMA knows that they don't want to really unnecessarily burden a property owner. If it's a non-conforming structure, they don't want to require them to bring it up to code. But they are concerned about, safety of life and property. So as a compromise, they developed this 50% rule, which is if a property owner makes improvements to the structure cumulatively, and I think the cumulative improvements are 50% or more of the market value of the structure, then they're required to bring it up to current FEMA regulations. So the city now, we use it for the life of the structure. There's different, I guess, time frames you can do, but we've always had, for the life of the structure as far as this 50% or substantial improvement. But the council asked us to look at it, and we looked at what other communities were doing and the requirements of FEMA, and are now recommending a 15 years for the 50% rule. And this way we'll be still in good standing with the CRS program, and I think that it'll help, property owners to an extent. Although we really haven't had more than 3 or 4 issues since we've been in the CRS program since 1991. So we're recommending that the code be amended to revise it so there is a 15-year time frame for non-conforming structures before that triggers the compliance with the new regulations for FEMA.
The 15 years, would that have mitigated the 3 or 4 issues that we had?
I don't know. It depends. I mean, you could have one improvement could be 50% more than the market value of the structure. And then, but some of these improvements, I think with the smaller properties, they just might have done maybe put an addition on, so it really wasn't more than 50% of the value of the structure. They were just like incremental.
Right. Well, I was, one of the commercial property, the big commercial property.
That was the only commercial property that I remember that there was an issue.
Would this have taken care of that? This would have probably taken care of that issue.
I'm trying to think of when it was Peg Leg Pete's, and then there was a really substantial improvement to that property. So I'd have to check the records. I'm not
just curious, but yeah, I totally support this. I think this is good and it's going in the right direction.
It is in the right direction.
I would like it to be 10 years, to tell you the truth, because that way somebody is constantly upgrading. I mean, this town will always look nice.
What does that do to our ratings?
Right.
Well, we
10
want
years
to
won't
have that
jeopardize
little
it.
cushion. I mean, you could do 10 years. We prefer to have 15. But most of the properties that are non-conforming have been demolished, and newer structures have been built because it's flood insurance is a lot less, and people just want a newer home. They don't want to have something that's going to flood. I don't have the
clicker.
Yeah.
Being an owner of a
Yeah, I wanted to
non-conforming.
show you. So this is on Oakleaf. You see that picture, the flooding?
Yes, that's in Harbor Palms.
To point it downward.
Down?
You have to put up a little bit.
You have to lift one leg and hold on.
Okay, I just wanted to show you towards the end here. See, this was flooding in Oldsmar, and then I'll show you a picture of, there is a pre-firm building, and there's a post-firm, or it complies with the NFIP regulations.
Is that Shore Drive?
Mm-hmm.
It's Pine Avenue.
Go back to the
Pine
other
Street
picture,
and Shore
Marie.
Drive.
Yeah.
Pine Avenue.
It's my house.
Oh, that's the seller's house.
Yeah, that's and that other one.
So, if you had a house that was pre-firm and there was flooding, you might have substantial damage, and you might not want to bring it up, might not want to improve it. You might just want to bring it up to code.
Owned the house next door to this house, so I would like it to be 10 years as well, because what holds us back from doing from doing a lot of improvements is the 50% rule, because we can only spend so much money and do so many improvements. Basically, they're saying that if you live in a house that was built before 1974 and you can't afford to demolish it and put up a brand new house, then we're going to limit you. So
But there are hazard mitigation grants. FEMA does, have hazard mitigation grants that you can apply for.
Tear your whole house down and start over.
Well, that particular house you just looked at has not had water in it in the last 50 years.
And mine either. I've had water almost into my house, but not in. It's never flooded. In the 13 years I've owned my house, it's never ever flooded. Yet my yard will flood, but I still am stuck. I can't do so many renovations because of the 50% rule. So I would like it to be 10 years too.
Is that because yours has been tapped out? Your 50%?
I'm pretty much close to it. I think if Marie and I got together and added up what I've done, I'm done.
Well,
And does it start, what's the 10, is it 10 years from the last time you did it or 10 years? What is the 10-year
The
period?
clock would start again, so you go back to zero after 10
No, I'm
years.
saying,
10 years from the
From the
beginning of
first
the
time.
renovation or the end of the renovation?
let's say she's at 48% of her value right now. Is it 10 years from the first time stuff was done, the second time, or is it taken off?
No, I mean, we do it for the life of the structure, so if she's 48%, she only has 2% more that she can improve before that kicks in. If you did it with
But
10
then
years.
I gotta wait 10 more years or 15
Yes.
more years before I can do any more.
Right. Okay. So
Then I'll be dead.
it's at the time that it's at the time she hits the rule. Okay.
The
Yeah.
question is, does 10 years affect the rate differently than 15 years?
No, I believe it does not. We just wanted a cushion.
What's the cushion for, though? I don't
Yeah.
know why we
It's
need a
for
cushion.
our community rating system, you know, the class 6, because we are more restrictive than the minimum that FEMA requires, then we get additional points.
Wait a minute, you say you don't believe. I want to know whether you know or not before we do this.
Will it affect it or
I
will
think
it
10
not?
years is the average that FEMA would allow.
The average?
Yeah, see?
Well, then we should change it to 10
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me make a motion.
or make sure.
Move to change it to 10.
I second
Well, we
it.
can find out between now and then.
Yeah.
If it changes anything, we'd have the ordinance.
Oh, good idea.
When we're doing the ordinance, we
Right.
can figure it
I
out
would like to
then.
know for sure.
Okay,
if-
then I will
So you can
make a motion to postpone this.
No.
and-
You can make a motion for the city attorney to authorize it to come back to us at the next meeting.
Okay, well, who's going to find out in the meantime?
Then we'll find out, and then we'll have the information. We'll have the ordinance, so we can always change it to
Alright.
10 there.
All right.
Your motion's fine.
And the reason too, we wanted the cushion, FEMA just came out with the new regulations for the CRS and they constantly change the rules. So we didn't want to have to come back to you if they said, now we're going to go with 20 or 15 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we want to do something that jeopardizes the rating
No.
for everybody else.
If it doesn't, and
but
it
if it
just
doesn't,
means
right.
changing it later back to 15, then let's do that. To keep
Well,
the
let's
rating.
find out
Yeah,
about-
exactly.
We'll know by
By
when
the
we
time it
go.
comes to us on February 5th, when the attorney prepares it, we can always change the number
Right.
right
Okay,
there
so-
during the
Fine with
ordinance.
that.
So, we're
Right.
good. I got the
You
motion.
don't want, oh,
You made the
okay.
motion. Did I have
Yeah.
a second?
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Are you done with your presentation? Thank you. Got the motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Mayor and council, the next item, consider approval of a use agreement with the Oldsmar Little League Incorporated for facilities at Canal Park. This is an annual renewal of the use agreement with Oldsmar Little League for the Little League program. It runs basically on the calendar year, would be effective through December 31st. Most of you know that Little League season starts in February, and then they also have a fall ball season. The only change is the dates from the previous agreement. Tonight, I recommend your approval of the agreement, use agreement with Oldsmar Little League Incorporated for use of facilities at Canal Park.
Okay, any motion for the Oldsmar Little League agreement?
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and council, the next item, approve easement to Tampa Electric Company for relocation of utilities for construction of the one segment of the trail. This is a small easement. It's 5 feet by 5 feet. It's located in Veterans Memorial Park, necessitating relocation of Tampa Electric facilities due to trail construction. So tonight I am recommending that you approve the easement granted to Tampa Electric for utilities. And as I said, it's a 5 by 5 foot parcel at Veterans Memorial Park.
Okay, I need a motion for the approval of the easement for TECO to,
So moved.
for the park. Got the motion second?
Second.
Got a motion second. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and council, item 16, approve utility relocation reimbursement agreement with Tampa Electric. This is also related to the trail construction project, and this is for the relocation of facilities on Oakwood Boulevard. The amount is $11,035. This was part of the plan for construction and part of the bid that was awarded already for this segment of the trail. If you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to those. I recommend approval of the relocation reimbursement agreement with Tampa Electric in the amount of $11,035.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Got a motion second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
It doesn't matter that I live on that street, does it? I can still vote on it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Unless you're getting the reimbursement, which we don't think.
Oh, no.
Okay, the next item is to approve the site plan amendment for the renovation and development of additional amenities at the Mobley Bayou Wilderness Preserve North Support Area. This project is funded with a $150,000 grant from the Land and Water Conservation Program. It's a matching grant included, so that would be a total project cost of $300,000. This includes construction of the Environmental Education Center, and addition to that, it's renovation of the parking lot, trail repairs of part of the existing trail there that's concrete and has deteriorated, as well as expansion and extension of the dock, our fishing pier, into the water there in the North Support area. Tonight, the project is in this year's budget. We are asking that you approve the site plan amendment for the North Support area to include the new facility plus the renovation of these other facilities that I mentioned.
This is really a nice project.
Yeah.
I need a motion to approve the site plan amendment.
Nope.
So moved. Oh,
Motion,
second.
got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Anything else?
That's it for me. Thank you.
Quite enough.
That was long enough list tonight.
City Clerk.
Yeah, item number 18, approve the 2013 use of the city seal by Oldsmar Cares, American Cancer Society, and Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce. This is something we do every year, just per statute. They have to have your authorization in order to use the city seal, and it'll be used for the same events that they used it for last year that you did approve, and we just need an approval through motion.
Okay, I need a motion for those three entities to use our seal.
So moved.
Second.
A motion a second. Did you want to say something?
Yes, I do want to say something. The American Cancer Society, we do that once a year.
Right. It's really for life.
That's fine with me. But to use the city seal for Oldsmar Cares and for the Chamber of Commerce, I am against.
Why?
Because they're not part of, they're not really, they're really not city things. And I mean, the Historical Society doesn't use it, we only use the car. The Women's Club doesn't use it, we only use the car.
I mean, the Chamber uses it like on their link for their website to get to our website.
Yeah, they do, but I don't know if they should.
I don't see a problem with it.
I would like
Okay,
businesses
what
to
about
be able-
Oldsmar Cares? They're a 501c3, they're by themselves.
It
I don't
helps them,
think-
I'm sure it helps them raise money, so that's a good
They
thing.
can use the car,
Wait a
like
minute.
everybody else does.
Tom, is there any problem with this?
It's not illegal to do it. I mean,
I
the
don't
statute requires you to give them permission to anyone, and it doesn't say that you can't do it for a 501c3.
Right, and what does it hurt? It only helps.
My question would be,
I
is
don't
if the women's group or the historical society want to use it, all they got to do is ask permission to use it.
No, we don't want to do that. I mean,
But
we
they have
just
that.
use the car.
But that's their
Right.
their choices. I mean,
Okay.
All right, I got the motion in a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion
Aye,
carries
me, no.
4-1. Thank you.
I have one more thing.
Yes.
Next item 19 is to discuss the Veterans Wall engraving error. And, we engrave the wall once a year, and we've used the same vendor since we started with the wall, and Cicadia Monuments. And in this past year, for the 2012 engraving, we have an error in which there was a name along with rank and years that was repeated twice on the same panel. When I met Cicadia Monuments to discuss what it would take to correct the error, he said that it could not be filled in and re-engraved and that it wouldn't look quite right. His recommendation was that that he could put in a recessed piece of black marble that was engraved with something special on the panel. I felt that it was outside the scope of my duties to be able to either accept the error or to authorize that one panel to be different from the other panels. So I forwarded the error and for consideration and recommendation from the Veterans Memorial Advisory Board. When they met, I did not have all of the information at the time about other errors that were on the wall because they were hard to find. And so they did not have those in front of them to consider. However, they were unanimous in that the error was not acceptable. And in a 3-2 vote, they voted for the vendor to have to replace the panel complete with the engraving at the vendor's expense. So I've brought it before City Council for a recommendation. The vendor has not been paid for his engraving. The engraver, Mr. Brian Couture is here, as well as the owner of Cicadia Monuments, Kevin Cantrell. And of course, the engraver is subcontracted by Cicadia Monuments. I'm not exactly sure how to proceed with either accepting or forcing them to make a change.
The vendor's here?
Yes.
Would you, I got a couple questions.
This is over the top.
What is the, I need your name and address for the record, please.
All right, I'm Brian Couture, 1629 Stanley Avenue, Groveland, Florida. I'm the engraver on the wall.
Okay.
And I'm Kevin Cantrell. I own Cicadia Monument Company. I'm 2500 Jennifer Terrace, Palm Harbor.
What is the cost to redo the wall?
The cost to replace the wall would be an average of $4,000 to $5,000. We would have to bring in heavy equipment. The site that's out there already has a concrete sidewalks, has grass, irrigation, trees. So we'd have to bring some large equipment to the site to remove the wall. The walls probably average about 3,000 to 4,000 pounds. So we'd have to bring a large, big, rental crane, 35-ton crane to remove the wall. In front of you, you guys have, they have the package of pictures. Back in 2004, obviously, I'm human. There was a mistake made with Mr. Frank Teet's name, which is a local veteran that lives here locally. Unfortunately, he was unable to stay tonight. His name was put on the wall twice. It is not misspelled. It is not, there's nothing wrong with his name at all. Just in error, I had, in my CAD program, I had copy and paste his name twice by accident. There was a miscorrection and his name was corrected in the computer prior to the wall being engraved. And by accident, I had duplicated the name on the wall. When you look at the wall, which is your picture A that you have. When you read the wall, it's when you're looking at a memorial and a monument wall that has 40 to 50 to 60 names, each name just doesn't jump out at you. So if the name is repeated twice, you really don't catch it. And usually the only person that would catch it is the actual name, Mr. Frank Teets, which he's honored that his name's on the wall twice, and he's grateful that it's not misspelled or anything like that. Back in 2004, I did engrave the wall, and at the time the city had screwed up. The city had not really misspelled, but they had put, which is Exhibit A. If you look at Exhibit A, on the top left-hand side, there's a name of Joseph Charles Steck, S-T-E-C. S-T-E-C is actually an Army rank. And the Army rank, S-T-E-C, was supposed to go down where it says E4. So the second line was supposed to read S-T-E-C space E4-Army. And then the name was, then the city had then called me up that year that I had done it, and they're like, oh gosh, the name is screwed up. We then pulled our paperwork out, and I said, well, this is exactly how you gave it to us. They're like, yes, we know that. What do we do now? And I explained to them, third generation monument engraver, I got my family involved, over 150 years of experience. I said to them, what do we do in a situation like this, talking to my uncles? They asked how large the wall is, how many names on it, sort of like the Veterans Vietnam War Memorial in Washington, D.C. My uncles had explained that when you're reading a large wall like this, the individual will go and look for his name or his family, and that be it. Since there is no such thing as Mr. Joseph Starl Steck, nobody would ever be looking for that name. So my family, with all the years of experience, says, just add his name to the wall like it's supposed to be, and nobody in the world would ever know other than who you're talking to about it. Mm-hmm. And that's what we did when the city had messed up. So now that unfortunately I created the name twice, by human error, I am human, and I do apologize for this inconvenience. After speaking to Mr. Teets, he said that he does not want me to go through any hassle because his name is spelled correctly on the wall twice. And unfortunately, only the people who know about was able to find his name twice on the wall. Mm-hmm. So at this time, I'm asking that the city would just leave it alone, just like we did the first time, and extend my apologies. that due to the mass work that would need to be done on site between going over the concrete with the equipment, ruining the irrigation, going over the sod, I would ask for your leisure and just leaving the wall just the way it is.
In a case like this, is there any kind of errors and omission insurance?
Yes, we do carry insurance for this, correct.
So the insurance would actually pay for the...
Actually, no. No. The insurance will only correct if my equipment failed, not if I did a human error.
See.
You know, I'm going to make a motion.
Well, let's talk about it before you make a motion.
Well, you can discuss it afterward, can't you? Well, I mean, don't you make motions and then you discuss it?
We do that. Yep.
Okay, then, I make a motion to leave it as is.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Got a motion, a second.
Okay, now we can discuss, and may I?
Sure.
We have all made mistakes.
Absolutely.
I mean, if say he put Frank's name down and then he had lunch, and now he's looking at his thing to see, and he just screwed up, he put it again. You know, and unless you're looking for Frank, you're not gonna even see it. I mean, people look for particular names.
If the fellow's not upset with it, then he's fine with it.
Yeah, Frank's fine with it. I already.
Well, he's
talked
on there
to Frank.
twice, of course. He's happy about it.
But, you know,
The more
he's.
time, the more time your name's up there, the better.
Right.
But I have a question, Mayor. I agree too that everybody makes mistakes, but the Veterans Advisory Board did recommend that we say that you had to replace the whole thing. So wouldn't a compromise, no, I don't agree with that either. But wouldn't a compromise be the idea to take the top Frank Tietz and put something else, like some kind of like flag or some kind of, I know it's going to make it different than all the other walls in
Yeah, I would
Right. There's actually several reasons why we wouldn't want to do that. First of all, the wall matches 16 other walls that are out there, so they all look identical. The second thing is anytime granite is a natural piece of stone. So anytime I start cutting into the granite to basically covering it up, or if I was to grind out the name and put some sort of cap over it, you're basically altering a natural piece of granite. So now you're involving glues, you're involving cutting, and basically altering the piece. So that piece is going to stand out among anything else. With altering the piece, with altering the granite and cutting into the granite, whatever I do put over is now going to be acceptable to water getting behind, is going to fall out, is going to rust, bleed. If you're putting a bronze plaque over it, now you're gonna have rust and bleeding on it. And you're basically opening up a can of worms for the future of you accepting this repair now, but it not good for the future.
So basically, we're at all or nothing. We're at keep it the way that it is or replace the whole thing. There's no other option. Is that what you're saying? There's no other option?
That's correct.
What was the bill?
The bill was around $2,883.
So what if we just didn't pay the bill and left it as it is?
That's, for a mistake? I don't think that's fair.
What I'm willing to do is for the hassle of going through. Every year we do this at a discount. The company has started the project from the beginning. We have put up the project from the beginning, and every year, because it is a veterans wall, it's not really a large money making project. So we basically do it at discount, the service to the community of engraving the wall every year.
Can I ask a question? A couple of questions. How much room is left on all of the walls, roughly, for names?
We there's about 6 walls left. Times it by 40 names per wall.
Okay.
240.
Was it 5 walls left? There's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Yeah, about 6 walls left. 4 walls left.
Did we get charged to engrave it twice?
Oh, no, by all means.
Oh, that would ask.
That's a good question.
No, what had happened is, exactly the day that it happened is I had all my signed paperwork from Ann that had signed off on proofreading everything. Ann had made a correction to Mr. Tietz's name. The paperwork stayed the same, but I went into my computer software program and I had changed the one correction on his military rank, was I instead of a 1. When I got to the wall, Kevin had showed up, Kevin Cantrell, and we were proofreading the wall and going over the wall all together, and I said, oh, we gotta put Frank's name on the wall because I had taken it out. Well, I didn't take it out. My computer cut it originally, and on site I cut the name again and put it on the wall and engraved it, thinking that I didn't put it on the wall the first time, and that's why it's at the end. If you look at
Absolutely.
If you look at pictures A, you'll see it.
2 people between it. between it.
That's correct. And picture A was at the end of the engraving, and then I went and put it back on.
I think, I'm sorry, but I think we ought to.
I'm not done.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were.
In talking with Ann today, there have been some corrections that have been made to some other names.
Correct.
And barely identifiable. Is that something that can happen? And I'm not giving my opinion as to what I'm doing. I want to make sure that we got all the facts. I think replacing the
You're asking
wall
all
is
the right questions.
replacing the wall is ludicrous.
Absolutely. You're asking the right questions, trust me. On the repair that we did years ago for that, it's 3/4 inch letters that I had repaired. It's called CBs. And one letter or two letters were taken out that are 3/4 inch tall. You can make a repair providing it's very small and one or two letters, and I'm going to engrave over it right away. To do a large name like this, and then hopefully the new name that I'm going to put on it is going to cover everything, I highly would not recommend that. The repairs is a man-made product, which is an epoxy that you're putting into a natural piece of granite. But by doing that, when you go to engrave the new letter, you're hoping that 80 to 90% of your repair is going to come out with the new engraving.
So the new guy would get slighted if it failed.
Yeah.
That's correct. So now you're dealing with a man-made product into a natural piece of stone that's out in the element. Now you're dealing with 37 letters versus one or two letters. It's extremely large. Would not recommend that at all.
Okay. What did you say you were willing to do?
What I'm willing to do is for all the aggravation that we were dealing with, I was willing to take 20% off the bill to show our gratitude and our sorrowness for this, and didn't want to put any through any inconvenience on that.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Well, I figured it's my part and to put into this.
Very nice of you.
And we would reissue and a new bill.
I would recommend we accept that offer.
I'm fine with that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You would need to change your motion.
Okay, then,
We'll leave the wall as is with a 20% discount off of the bill.
that's it.
Okay.
You got
And
it.
the seconder is good with that?
Got it.
Who
Any other
seconded it?
discussion?
Jerry?
Everybody's good? I think that's a fair
Bet it wasn't John Smith. There could be two John Smiths.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate your recommendations, and I want you guys to know that the Veterans Park means quite a lot to us. And I purchased the company from my father about 9 years ago, and we've been taking care of things since that time. Mr. Kuchar's been a mobile, portable letter for us for going through all cemeteries, and he comes from 3 generations of sandblasting, and we don't typically need to watch him. He doesn't want me to watch him, and he's better than that. I've never seen him ever make a mistake before like this. So I was shocked as anybody. I got a phone call. I was down in Clearwater, and I came back up to the vet park because Lynn had gone out there and seen the name twice. So we didn't know it, didn't realize it, and anyhow. But I appreciate your recommendation.
To me, it's to honor Mr. Teets, and if he's fine with it,
I am too.
We
Yeah,
appreciate
and
you being
Frank
here
is.
and, for the offer. I think it's fair. And we'll just, we'll all be
Incidentally, I
more
go way
careful.
back. I remember the Oldsmar is really quite something from when I was a young guy.
Thanks. Okay, I've got the motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. You guys are yeses?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you for your time. I appreciate
Very much.
it.
Appreciate it.
I think we should have paid him the whole thing.
That's all I have. Nope, that's all.
All done? All right, thank you very much. Comments by council members? I just want to start by saying, today, we're drinking 100% Oldsmar bottled water.
This is the coolest thing.
So, are we going to sell? Lisa, come on up and,
What? No, I just poured it all over me. Explain yourself.
And he did that in one
Okay,
sentence.
Jesse?
Lisa Ray, Director of Public Works. We received 22 pallets of bottled potable water. Today, we'll have it this Friday at the ribbon cutting. That'll be the only beverage we're serving. It is a water plant after all, so we're going to drink Oldsmar water at the ribbon cutting ceremony. And we will also have it available for the special events for, like Oldsmar Days and different events that we have around the city. So we have our own water now, and that is our water. There was a 10,000-gallon tanker truck that showed up at the plant about a week and a half ago, picked up the water, took it to their facility because it is an approved facility that has been cleared to actually bottle water that can be sold and consumed and such. So we had to contract that out. We designed the label in-house. Holly worked very hard on that in coordination with the whole group of us, and I think it looks good, and we're excited about this.
You know, it was funny, I was in the
And I'm
clerk's
glad
office
I didn't
today.
open
for
it.
my
Collectors,
weekly
no,
visit,
I'm
and
glad collectors
I actually came up with the idea, and she already had the bottles.
You did.
No, that was today, but these were already made.
We talked about that.
I know. We did talk about it a
years
lot.
ago when we.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been a running joke. Oh, we're going to bottle our water and sell it. Well, guess what? We
It's
did.
kind of cool. It's really neat.
And you didn't go with
Did
the
we give them
cheesy plastic.
authorization to put the seal on here?
Well, the city.
Ours, it's ours.
It's our seal, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. I should have gotten council
Go
permission,
ahead
sorry.
They should just use the car.
Tell everybody what we got going Friday.
Well, Friday, we have a very big event, one that we have been looking forward to for over 15 years, I would say, since we started this long journey back in 1997. So we have our ribbon cutting for our RO water treatment plant. We're opening the gates, starting to let people in around 2 o'clock, and the ceremony itself, we expect by the time we get everybody in and people get organized, it'll probably be around 2:30 when we actually start the ceremony. I do ask those of you who are going to be cutting the ribbon to please get there a little early. We want to get some pictures, get everything staged and take care of that. And we'll also have an open house, which is a self-guided walking tour. We're producing some large bulletin size displays that we'll have sitting in front of the different apparatus so people can walk through and read what happens. We'll have some of our staff standing along the route so they can answer questions. It'll be easier to do that because people can go at their own pace instead of having to group people into groups of 10 and have somebody walk them through. And that'll be going until 5 o'clock. So between 2 and 5, will be open to the public.
It's an open house.
Now, one thing, we're not going to actually allow the tour to start until after you officially cut the ribbon.
Yeah.
So, you have to cut the ribbon before people can go on the walking tour.
Well,
And you need to make sure you bring a photo ID
That's
as well.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah. And we will have sign in and check in. And there will be parking the same way that we did with the groundbreaking across the street. ProMedica has allowed us to use their parking lot. So, and we'll have some shuttle service for people who have difficulty walking long distances. We'll be able to drive them over in golf carts and check them in.
Wonderful.
And light refreshments.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. We've been working hard towards this. I think it'll be a great event, and I'm very excited.
And we just got it just in time before you leave.
And I'm so sorry, I'm going to miss it. So.
I'm sorry you missed it too.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we're still at comments by council members. Councilmember Norris.
Congratulations on that. I am really sorry that I'm not going to make the ribbon cutting. I hope that you could move it, but I guess that's just too much to do. I will be leaving tomorrow for my vacation, so I'll be going to Washington, D.C. to attend the inauguration of the President of the United States. And I'm not going to preface it with, whatever party you are, he's the president and everybody should pray for him and support him. That, I think, is a given. And it's just going to be a whole week of, I'm going to, see the Declaration of Independence and all the stuff, the Constitution. I'm going to just take a whole week and I'm going to do all of the things that are, to me, historically important for this country. And I'm very proud, and I'm going to represent Oldsmar proud, and I'll be back next Wednesday. So thank you.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
Councilmember Beavis.
Well, I think that's great that you're going to go there, and I agree that no matter what party you are, it's the respect of the office. And I say that because I took my daughter years ago when she was in probably middle school to see George Sr. over at Clearwater Airport. She got to say hi to him. She got something autographed by him. She took it into her history class, and the history teacher said, "Oh, it's just George Bush." My daughter was just absolutely devastated. And again, it's not your party. We all joke and things like that, but it is the respect of the President of the United States.
the
And I think
office.
that's great. So
Yeah.
respect of the office, yeah. So anyway, I think that's great. You're going to do that. I mentioned this to Bruce earlier today, and I'm not sure if we can do anything or suggest to the county. Someone asked me about the lighting at Tampa Road near the movie theater at East Lake Woodlands, where the young man was killed over the holiday, and the lighting's terrible there. The lighting is bad, and as Bruce indicated, that's a county responsibility, and they light some roads, they don't light other roads. To me, that seems like something that we might want to have them look at, and I don't know what their criteria is, but that's probably something that could have some pedestrian traffic going from East Lake Oaks or East Lake Woodlands to the movie theater and all the other things that are over there.
There's been 2 fatalities there.
There's at least 2.
We can ask, right?
Yeah. You want to just go to the administrator?
Sure.
Okay. We can do that.
I mean, it can't hurt. I mean, if it
And then
saves a
if
life.
we need to, we can get in touch of all the commissioners.
Good.
You know, that is dark out there.
Very dark there.
It is
They,
very
uh,
dark.
There's been 2 kids that got killed.
Yeah, I know there have.
And on a side note, I know we continued to, and we haven't for some time, and maybe with the new district secretary, maybe we can revisit it a little bit. But at Bay Arbor, we continued to look for a track. I thought I was going to miss the meeting. I sat for almost 15 minutes trying to pull out of my subdivision, which is kind of odd, heavy traffic. But we went to the school board and to the DOT to try and, it was about the busing initially. And our fear was at Bay Arbor, all of our kids, I see it every morning, all of our kids congregate right there by the gazebo, and they're kids, they're running around, they're doing whatever, frolicking, and things like that. And I'm not exactly sure when it happened, but our fear has always been that somebody's going to lose control and smash into the gazebo, and it's going to be when our kids are there. That happened. Somebody smashed right into the gazebo, took out one of the walls and all the bushes. And
Well, that's been some time ago.
yeah, but it happened. It happened.
It happened. It did happen.
That's just a fear. So I don't know what we do about it, or what
There's a new restaurant coming in where the Melting Pot was.
Right.
They're supposed to open up next month.
Right.
Once they do that, we're due a traffic study from the developer, right?
We're still due one.
We had to get the traffic study done.
Right.
To
And it's really 2 things. One is the light, and the other is the busing is still not an issue that's been resolved. And I think we talked today that Bay Arbor Place, the second floors are pretty much at occupancy.
Yeah. He's only got, I talked to him just before the first, I think he's only got 1 or 2 parcels left after the restaurant.
Got the 2 end caps.
And the restaurant's going to be a Salt Rock Grill and Tavern.
From Frank Chevis, yeah, so that'll be.
So it's pretty nice pickup for us.
If I lived in Bay Arbor, I would not come out of there and try to go east.
Yeah.
Well, it's even hard to get to Shady Oaks sometimes.
Yeah, because and they've talked about that. Is
You gotta get over really
you
quick.
can't get across those 3 lanes of traffic in time.
That's
And,
right.
I don't know what the answer is, and what I don't want is, I don't think we want pork chops out there in the median, because I would say 22 out of the 24 hours a day, it's not bad. It's an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon, and I'd hate to send people, west to go east when there's no traffic coming. It's a small amount of time, but the volume on Tampa Road has increased, and the volume coming out of Bay Arbor has definitely increased.
And maybe the warrants will warrant it because of the 2, the restaurants Rumble brings in a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could even pick up my dry cleaning tonight. There was no place to park.
And I think he's got like 200 employees upstairs.
Yeah.
So that traffic has changed a lot since we did the last study. The last study was 5-6 years ago, probably, right?
Yeah.
So
It was probably, was it before I was on council?
Yes,
yeah,
it was.
right before you
Yes, it
came on,
was.
so 6 years ago or whatever.
So, anyway.
But, yeah, I would say let's get that study done as soon as that restaurant opens up, and a week later, let's ask for it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think
I mean-
Smoothie King is going to make a difference.
No, and they're not, there's no plans, I don't think, for the end caps anytime soon. so-
Right, well, you can't get a bank right now, so yeah, exactly.
And that's all I have.
Okay.
Mayor, I forgot one thing. It's real quick. I wanted to publicly thank Congressman Gus Bilirakis for my tickets to the inauguration, because he was very gracious. So I just want that on record in TV. God bless you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilmember Miller.
Okay, well, I have something sad, we talked at the last meeting about Jean Jorgensen and being in, and last Monday she died. And I hope I hope everybody from the city is going to be at her memorial tomorrow. It starts at 2:00. And, of course, it's at, what's his name? Holloway's, yes. And we're all going. Jean loved her,
Margaritas.
no, not the margaritas,
What did you say?
I'm not a drinker, I can't remember. I
I saw it
very
in the
seldom
email.
ever drink. No, it
hilarious.
isn't margaritas, it's the ones with.
Salsa?
No, the ones you put the celery in to mix it
Bloody
with the
Marys.
tomato juice. Yeah, Bloody Marys, there you go. See, I'm just not a drinker.
Margaritas.
No, that's not what it is, though. It's Bloody Marys. Believe me, it's Bloody Marys. She
Maybe
loved
she
her
liked them
Bloody
both.
Marys.
You go into a Mexican restaurant for Bloody Marys?
Believe me, it was her favorite thing was a Bloody Mary.
I believe you, I believe
Yeah,
you.
but anyway, we are all going to
Under a tree.
salsas afterwards.
In a meeting.
And because she did like salsas. And she would order margaritas there.
So if I go, I can have a margarita.
You can have a margarita, yes.
I'm in.
But at 2:00, I hope everybody will come and give their respects. She's been cremated. And they're going to take her back to Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
And her daughters are in town, and they'll take her to Wisconsin and put her with the rest of her family, because that's where she's from originally. And it's really a loss, right?
It is.
She really was the matriarch of Oldsmar. I mean, she did everything. She was the president of this and the secretary of that and the treasurer of this and she just, anytime you say, hey, Jean, you want to go blah, 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 I'm ready. I'll be ready. Pick me up, I mean, she was always ready, right? I mean, to do anything. And we're going to miss her a lot. We're going to miss her a real lot. And for you, the Women's Club has established help me. No, we're not doing a plaque. We're actually doing
Scholarship?
we're actually going to be doing a scholarship. Remember when Jean got all that money from
Civic Club.
the Civic Club thing? Yes. Well, she gave $50,000.
On the blank of Genesis.
I'm thinking so fast, my mouth isn't going with the brain.
That's unusual.
She gave $50,000 to St. Pete College for women's scholarships.
She did.
So now that's what we are going to do in the Women's Club.
Good.
We're going to have a $2,000 scholarship for women. And of course, there are certain things they have to meet, and they can't have money already. And there's really no age limit. If it's a mother with 2 kids that wants to go back to school, we're gonna help her out, and it's gonna be in Jean's name.
That's good.
So,
What happened to the rest of that money?
well, 10,000.
All distributed to different.
The members, but do
No,
they keep
no,
it or?
No.
Everybody gave it
All
back.
came back,
Okay,
and then they
okay.
distributed it together.
All
as a
except
club.
one. All except
right?
one.
Who? Didn't get it.
A lady in Palm Harbor spent her
Oh, that's right.
$20,000 immediately.
Yes,
But
that's
all
right.
But all the other ones that came back and went into
Yeah.
the city of Oldsmar.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It was so long ago, I don't remember.
Yeah, she gave, I think, 10,000 to Oldsmar Cares.
She gave some to Safety Harbor.
She gave a bunch out, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she gave to that one.
But that money went all over.
But then she gave money to the Women's Club.
That was at Safety Harbor.
And, I mean, she really did it right.
$250,000.
It was the city's money.
It was the city's money to start with.
Yeah.
We paid them to take over the land for the library,
Right.
where they should have just,
If she did nothing
Yeah, my
else,
feelings on that.
Jean did a lot, and I've not, Laura.
Yes, she did.
But if she did nothing else, she put herself out in the open
Yes,
to
she
do
did.
that. I mean, that took
Yes,
courage.
took guts,
It
you
also
better
took
believe it.
more, because she had $50,000 in her purse. And that took courage to say, I don't want it, it's not right, and she brought it to the attention
Yes, she
of the
did.
public.
She got an attorney on her own.
That's right.
And she was a special lady. She was a special lady.
She really was.
She had guts, and you knew where you stood with her. Boy, right? Yeah, good, bad, or otherwise, right? And you just have to admire her, and I'm glad she's out of her misery,
Yeah,
No question.
better
So
place.
2 PM tomorrow at Holloway Funeral Home.
2 p.m. tomorrow. Celebration of life.
And what time
yes.
is it at Salsa's, Ben?
And
What
afterwards?
does that?
I don't know what,
I may be out. I may be down in.
We'll
Brady,
we'll
so-
be there a while, I would think.
Okay.
We'll probably eat,
Okay.
It closes at 2 AM.
No, I don't think we're gonna be there that long. I know I'm not. But yeah, that's really all I have to say tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
I got a lot, but I'll be quick.
You do?
First of all, when we talk about the lights down by the theater, remind the county, because that road does belong to Pinellas County. That part of Tampa Road is Pinellas County, it's not
Yes.
DOT.
Yeah.
Remind them that the City of Oldsmar bought the light at Tampa Road and East Lake Road. There was some people killed there, and the county would not put up a red light there. This was 1980. The City of Oldsmar took $10,000, wasn't even in the city, and put that red light at Tampa Road and East Lake Road. Just for your information. Where'd she go? She's gone.
She'll be back in a minute.
Enjoy Washington, D.C.
You can hear you. Man. You can hear
Enjoy
you, man.
Washington, D.C. Actually, I've been up there many times. I've been in the bowels of the Congress, in the bowels.
Oh, have you?
That was created in 1858. When Lincoln was inaugurated, the dome hadn't been put on the White House, on the Congress yet.
Is that right?
They were building it as he was inaugurated in 1860. So I've been down in the bowels of it. I mean, down almost 3 stories down there, the part that was built in 1858. Anyway, it's very interesting. So enjoy yourself in Washington, D.C. Number 1, where are we with Winn-Dixie or that shopping center plaza?
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Are we citing them yet? And if not, why not?
Right.
Code enforcement should be out there and citing that whole plaza. That's what this council directed.
Yes.
They have complied with, the violation.
Have they?
Some time ago, yeah.
Have they striped their parking lot? Have they striped that's in violation.
Well,
Have they striped the fire lanes? Have they fixed the
Roof and the,
Awnings.
they had a contractor come out and fix the roof, but they are really not required to restripe it, so redevelop that property.
redevelop?
Can we do anything, Tom, with them?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
I went with Bob a couple of months ago, and we drove through the parking lot, we drove around the building, we made note of the violations that we saw, and those are the things that were corrected. There were specifically the things that we noticed were potholes in the parking lot that needed to be repaired. And on the front of the building, on the east side of it, there was some fascia missing, and some soffit and so forth that needed to be repaired. I guess that's what Marie is talking about, has been repaired. We did look at the fire lane and, the necessity for striping that. The facility or the building is unoccupied at that location right there in front of the Winn-Dixie. He said that he was going to take a look at that. I'm not aware of any provision in the code that would require them to stripe it for the fire lane. There may be something in the life safety code, but we were there and we did drive the property. Maybe took 20 minutes or 30 minutes going around the entire building in the parking lot.
I'd like to ask you something. Since that was a food store,
Yes.
wouldn't you think there'd be critters running around in there?
I tell you, it was
rats
very,
and God
very
knows what.
clean on the back side of the property where the dumpsters were. We took a look at that because we were looking, people dumping things in the
Yes.
dumpsters were there. The back area behind the Winn-Dixie was neat. And, they had that retention area in the back, and the grass, of course, was a little high, but that has been cut since then, but
Yeah, but we're
we
talking
didn't
about
see.
the inside of the building.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, could they get into the other parts of the building?
They probably,
We would have to have probable cause for an inspection warrant, and the answer is
okay, I just
we don't
wanted to
have
bring that up.
Isn't
I-
that-
They were supposed to meet with us back in like August. What happened to that?
Yeah. Yeah, and they didn't.
haven't? Okay, I gave in that, I gave in then. I want them right here.
Yep.
I want them
That's
right
not
here.
within our power.
It's not in our power?
Well, maybe the attorney can give you some way to do it. We invited them, they didn't come. I don't have subpoena power.
No, we don't have subpoena power, but, well,
That's, okay,
isn't there something we could do
No.
to make them
all right.
do something with it?
Let me go on.
Force them to come here. We can, if there was another code enforcement issue, we can bring them before the code enforcement board, and they would have to appear there. The code enforcement board has subpoena power to bring them there. That's the other option, if there are violations still.
Can't we make them tell us what they're gonna do with it?
No,
Not really.
okay, I don't want to
And then
go any
just sit
further.
there like
Okay,
that.
I'm already irritated with it. Let's go on. Okay, we have sign codes in this city. Okay?
Yes,
You can't put an A sign up,
Right.
you can't do this, and you can't do that.
yeah.
But yet we've got somebody standing on a sidewalk doing this.
Well,
No. If I can't put an A sign up, I don't want somebody doing this on the side of the road at Tampa Road and Forest Lakes Boulevard. That's distracting the drivers. Now, what can we do about that?
Somebody made a ruling in some municipality that they can't because that's considered a motion sign, which you're not allowed to have. Motion sign.
You can't have, that's exactly what it is.
I don't know where it was. I can't remember where.
yeah,
what
businesses are
municipality.
in trouble. They're just trying to,
Oh, is it Lakeland?
What
They
if
can't, spin them and do.
Well, what if every business down on Tampa Road decided they want to put somebody out there and do this?
It would be rather
There's about 3 or
entertaining.
4 of them doing that now on Tampa Road.
Do they have to get a permit to do that?
I'll check into that.
Would you
Where is it
please?
located and what are they doing?
Oh, Forest Lakes and
Yeah,
Tampa Road at
Tampa
about
Road.
5 o'clock. Jack Willie's has got one going on. On the other side of the street, you got the phone company.
yes.
And then at the Winn-Dixie Plaza now, you've got the guy dressed as the Statue of Liberty.
That's your,
Yeah.
I mean,
For taxes.
I saw that all this
for
afternoon on the way
taxes,
up.
Right? Yeah.
yeah,
It's a person standing on the sidewalk in the public right-of-way with a sign.
yes.
It's the same as if you're campaigning.
That,
Yeah,
You're standing out on the road with signs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, I don't,
no, well,
I don't think it's a big
if you
deal.
look into it, Tom, please.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. I've talked to Bruce about this, and I want to bring it before council. The money from the red light cameras, we designated that for safety. Well, we had some conversations, and I believe we need a resolution. I'll say an ordinance, but a resolution, because Bruce had brought up something that he wanted to do, and then I brought up something I wanted to do with it. Is that the red light money goes into this fund where it's public safety, also for safety of the roads, which would be like on Douglas, redoing Douglas, make it safety. And then part of the money to go into the preservation, which I think is very important to the city of Oldsmar, a historical preservation, some of that money, so that when we see a particular resident, and I'm thinking of 2 of them right now, that when they're sold, we can step in and buy them and preserve them. And one of them could be part of the library. I'll tell you what's going to happen to it. It's going to end up as a parking lot. It's going to end up as a parking lot on Clarendon. So if we use...
Clarendon?
Yes, Clarendon. So if we use this red light money for safety, like buying the fire truck, also for the safety like redoing Douglas, which makes that safety, And then for historical preservation, if the council would go along with that, I would recommend we put it on the agenda to put it in a resolution.
I don't fully understand.
I do.
First of all, you don't like resolutions.
I was just going to say that, but
Well, that's what, I'd rather have it in an ordinance, but he suggested resolution. I'd rather have it in an ordinance. So down the road.
But you want to buy a property, preserve it, and do what with it?
Use it for the library. We've got.
You can use it for the library.
We've got some houses here in town
yes,
that we need to preserve.
yeah, I agree.
What is the library going to do with a house 3 blocks away from them?
Well, use it. There's other ways you can use it.
We can have a historical society.
This is a big house. Anyway, this is something that I would just like for the council to consider.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But I'd like it in an ordinance other than the resolution. So down the road, a future city manager will come up and say, okay, this is what it's actually for. And he doesn't have to defend himself or explain why he's wanting to put money into redoing Douglas Road.
I'm more for just leaving it the way it is with public safety, to be honest with you.
Well, that's what I'm asking the council. I tell you, I would appreciate it as an agenda item, and then let the council say yes or no, and then I would live with that. So if you put that on the agenda, and then we can talk about how.
Maybe there's another.
Sure, we'll
way
do
to
it.
that.
We'll do it. I mean, what'll be on the agenda is discussion of traffic fine, the revenue.
Right.
Use of the revenue.
Right.
And we're going to get the report on that?
That's scheduled for the first meeting in March because we wanted to get a little more time of
Where we're at.
actual history. Even though citations, I believe we started issuing August 1st, there wasn't practically no money in August. So you really have, in terms of numbers and money, we need a little more time, I think. It's still going to be a preliminary report, but we're going to plan that for the first meeting in March.
It'll be interesting to see if it's got downward trends already.
Well, actually, the first 3 months, it is slightly going that direction.
So anyway, historical preservation is part of this whole thing, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about the rest of you all, but I can't send an email to anybody in the city, my city. It kicks my emails out.
Not
If I
all of
wanna
them, I've
send-
seen a few of yours.
Yeah.
No, if I want to send Bruce an email, it kicks my email out. If I want.
Because you blocked.
Oh.
What is it?
Yeah.
They try
He
to
put
say-
spam. He put your spam by your name.
They said it was my fault, and I've had them come and check out on my computer. It's not my fault. So you don't get any emails from your gang? It's because city says they don't want any emails from me.
Is it just me or is it other people?
Everybody.
Oh, the city,
I got an
yeah.
email from you today.
I see stuff from you.
Yeah, I do too.
No, I was thinking of one from personal though, not city. I've been having a problem with my city
Well, I
email
think yours did
too.
come to my personal. It was about
Yeah.
the
Yours came to my city
format.
email today.
Yeah.
I
Right.
haven't noticed.
I sent it from my
Oh.
email. If I send Ann an email, it gets kicked out. If I send Bruce an email, it gets kicked out.
You mean from your personal email at home?
Yeah,
Personal or city? The iPad?
personal.
Oh.
Personal. But anyway, somebody find out why they don't want me to talk to anybody. One last thing.
Man, I sure could have said this a lot faster.
You'll never live that down.
You are gonna live that. I cracked up when I read that.
Third time you got
That
me
was
tonight.
hilarious.
This is for the candidate.
You asked me if I cared. I said I'd laugh.
All the candidates, you're to be congratulated and commended for running, okay? And I told you all that in an email. This is another admonition. When you're going to do something and you're going to stand up out here and say something, or you're going to come up here like the forum, know what you're talking about. Know what you're talking about. I don't usually watch forums, and Jerry, you're to be congratulated on the way it all worked in. That was great. But one question, you candidates didn't know what you're talking about.
Which one was that?
And it was almost embarrassing. because y'all sat out here and listened to that meeting. And has nothing to do with Councilman Linda down there,
Councilwoman.
Councilwoman, or whatever, council person.
It's councilman.
Is it? I don't say that, though.
Because her vote
Thank you.
was right for her. You were asked the question about the reclaimed water.
Yes.
And how we passed it. And we passed it because we thought it was important. But no, let me finish. And you all were here that night. And some of the answers that's the only part of the debate or the forum I looked on TV because somebody had told me some things and kind of conflicting. So I watched that. I just happened to come into that particular part of it. And some of the answers that you all gave didn't make any sense. But here's the point I'm telling you. When you, as a council person, you're dealing with people up here, and you're representing the citizens of Oldsmar. Do your homework a little better. The first thing they said was, well, you didn't agree with it, and that's fine. That's fine. Two of the council members said, well, I agree with Councilman Norris voted against it, and I agree with her. Y'all were sitting here that night. She didn't vote against that. She voted negative on what I presented. She wanted the fee. She wanted it at $5 and something. So what you people said, I agree with her. If you're going to agree with her, then you was agreeing to the $5.50. So I'm telling you this be prepared, because you're representing the people who are. I'm going to be criticized for this, and that's fine, but I'm doing it for your benefit. Because when you get up here and sit with us, know what you're talking about. Do I always know what I'm talking about? Bruce can tell you no.
He's not the only one.
Call roll, please.
When I was elected in 1970, I knew everything.
There was nothing going on.
Well, I found out I didn't know anything. The next mayor, and I've said this before, I got into discussion in 1971 with the mayor, Bud Lister, a good friend of mine, ended up being. He walked away from me in our discussion. And I said, don't you ever walk away from me when I'm talking to you. He turned around, looked at me, said, I don't talk to ignorance, and turned around and walked away again. He was right. He was right. So when you make statements, and we all make the mistakes, like the guy with the thing.
Absolutely.
But to me, that was a blatant mistake, because you all sat here in the audience. She didn't vote against raising. She didn't vote against that. She voted against me, or my recommendation, to lower it to $3.50 or whatever it was. She wanted it $5, and that was fine, and I understood that. But evidently y'all didn't. You didn't listen well. And I say this humbly, and I say it trying to help you. Because one of you is going to sit up here.
Probably should have said it privately.
Well, to soften it a little
Let me do
bit.
the damage control now. I want to congratulate all three candidates for a great debate. I want to thank the chamber for the job that they did in the League of Women's Voters. I watched the debate. I didn't feel it was my business to be here during the debate, so
I was here.
that's why I personally didn't come.
Me too.
But
I was here.
I thought you guys all did an outstanding job. Well, I guess we all have different opinions and stuff, but I thought the debate was good, and I congratulate all three of you. And I was pretty impressed with the way all three of you got along with each other. So
Oh, me
I
too.
really
I liked
respect
that
that.
too.
And,
Yeah.
commend you guys for that,
Just
because
that one part.
it's not an easy thing to do up here when you get up here and you don't know where the question's coming from. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
your mind is going 3,000 miles an hour.
Yes.
So
And-
you all did a great job.
And some of them were quite nervous,
Yes.
and that, I mean, you just draw a blank when you're nervous.
They were very well informed, and technically, to soften the blow there, it was I didn't agree with the entire thing, so I voted against it. So technically, they were correct. I voted against it, but.
Oh, they
in
thought
this-
you voted against the whole thing.
Well, you were going to vote for,
They were-
you were going to vote for the higher rate.
I did want the higher rate, but I still.
If I would have voted it down, we didn't have you here at the meeting, but if I would have voted it down, I wasn't confident I was going to get 3 votes
Right.
to have the higher
Right,
rate,
I
and then it just
understand
died.
that. I understand that, yeah.
So I figured
So.
better to cut some bait then and get something than nothing.
Bait. Ruben would like that.
yes, yeah, it was for him.
I think they did a great job.
It was for him, I'll tell him.
I lost my train of thought. I served on my last MPO meeting, so no longer on the MPO. Oldsmar's representative now is Mayor Archie from Tarpon Springs. And then I've only got 2 more PPC meetings. And with all the changes that are going on with the PPC, I think somebody on this council probably should start at least attending the meetings, because somebody's going to get appointed after I'm gone. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 months before the reapportionment happens, where they join together. So somebody might want to start getting the speed on what the PPC does and all of the changes that are coming down and stuff. So they could go to a meeting that I'm at, right?
Yes.
So I would suggest
They shot
next
that-
meeting, you might decide who wants to go. It's the second Wednesday at 3 o'clock.
Well, we might even appoint somebody that's elected. I mean, we don't know.
Well, eventually you're going to have to appoint somebody.
No, you're
I
gonna
mean,
have,
no, I mean,
The newbie.
yeah.
no.
No, I don't know if you want to do that.
No,
Too
no,
much
no.
for
We did that
somebody
one
new.
time.
But you also
twice.
might want to consider having somebody sit in the MPO meetings too, just so the council has that
informed.
knowledge, because we don't see the MPO again for another 4 years now.
PPC is very important.
I'd be willing to do
Right, and
that.
plus you've done a lot because you're there for this city.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
I'd
idea.
A lot of
I'd
stuff
be
that comes up
willing.
that, we might not necessarily be aware of. It's easy to miss.
Well, he was,
Right.
he's the second chairman. I was the first chairman from North Pinellas County of the PPC. And in fact, you're the second person from the city of Oldsmar ever to sit as the chairman of the
that right?
PPC.
I'm not the chairman anymore.
No, but you were.
I'd be willing to go to,
Yeah, we'll discuss that maybe next meeting or something. But I think
Right
there's
up your alley,
value if
Janice.
somebody could go to, well, they're going to start meeting.
Rally.
The MPO actually starts at 1, and then the PPC starts the same day.
The PPC, and we made this ruling back yonder, way back there, when I served on it for 8 years, is that it should be the mayor that sits on the PPC.
it really should, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of changed. A lot of council members on the
Oh, they
PPC.
do
Well,
now?
what's happening is a lot of the cities now are bringing, how I sat on the PPC and the MPO? Well, I was the only one for years. Now Clearwater does it, now St. Pete does it, now Largo's doing it, Dunedin's starting to do it. So now they're all starting to come with what we started. The thing is, in another 3 months, 4 months, it's going to be merged. So the meetings are all going to be together at once. So you're only going to have one representative. Right.
That's what I was going to say, you're only going to have one anyway.
Right. The bad thing for us is on the MPO part of that, we're actually on both of them now, we would not sit for 4 years. So you have David Archie as the MPO rep and as the PPC rep.
4 years?
Huh? Yeah, because 2 years to TARP, 2 years to TARP
Oh,
and then 2
and
years
then
to
2
City
years
Harbor.
for Safety Harbor?
Correct.
Yes, okay, just like the,
Yeah, so it's something you want to consider, to just have somebody sitting there
Well,
for the knowledge.
actually, none of us will sit on the PPC then after 3 months.
Well, once the merger happens.
Once the
merger happens. The merger's not going to happen before I'm out of office.
No, but
Reapportionment will happen before I'm out of office, but it'll still take another month or two. I think late spring.
then we won't have a representative there except Archie.
And that's what I'm suggesting. You probably want somebody from this council to go to these meetings.
they're also on TV,
Yep,
I mean.
they're on TV. They're not the most pleasant things to watch, I can tell you that.
No, I know.
It's live on TV.
Yes, it is live.
It's live. I learned that the hard way.
So even if you don't go to the meeting, you could watch it on TV.
You could watch it on TV, right?
You can watch it.
Or you can even watch it off the internet too,
Yeah.
the streams. But I think it would be important to do
But
that.
there was twice where the representative of the city of Oldsmar, twice.
I know who
How can I say this nice?
you're not
I
going to
don't
say
let
it
that stop
nice.
you.
Like, yeah. You're not going to.
Went to the PPC and actually voted against the city of Oldsmar. two different represent, two of them.
Two of them.
I
know one.
One in 1988 and one not too far back. And one of them ended up being mayor later on.
Mm-hmm.
And the council tried to censor him and he chastised him, but the PPC is important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it
A lot
is.
of changes coming through too. They went through
Yeah.
37 land use categories to 10. So that makes it easier for Marie, certainly.
And I obviously you know that I sit on the RPC, and I am on a separate little committee where there's about 10 or 12 of us. I was telling Bruce about it today. It is, it's a committee that is just doing regional stuff like transportation. One was health insurance. That to me is, but anyway, I guess that's more for like county commissioners and stuff. But the other one is the train. Another one is the ports. In fact, the meeting yesterday was about ports and what we can do to bring, like these huge cruise ships now are 3 times as big as the old ones, and they have 3 times as many people on them. And they're talking about putting the port, actually, because these big ships can't come under the bridge. So they're talking about putting the port in on the Manatee side and shuttling the people with, what they call it, not the hovercraft, but it could be hovercraft, it'd be ferries, and bring them in. And there are certain kinds of rules that the state has that for cargo and separate for passengers. So they can disembark and go see sites, but they can spend the night. They can spend even 2 nights, because it's going to be something like 18, 20, no, more than that, 28 hours or something like that they can be on land. And this would bring in 3 times as many bed taxes, and this is a really cool thing. I love this committee. It is so, you just kind of get overwhelmed with knowledge, though. And Victor Christ, the commissioner in Hillsborough, that son of a gun, he is brilliant. I am very impressed with him, And I'm, to tell you the truth, I'm kind of glad he's not in the Senate anymore, that he's local now, because that helps the region. And he's a sharp cookie. He really is. But anyway.
And then the last thing I got is, got a notified from the city of Safety Harbor today that the PSTA rep for us now is going to be their Commissioner Cliff Mertz. Cliff's a pretty good guy.
Who? Oh, I don't know.
Cliff Mertz.
He's taking Andy's. Yeah. How much has Andy got left? Because then it's
He's
back to
done.
us. No. I mean, how much did he have left on his? He's only partway into.
I think it's another year.
Yeah, and then it comes back to us. That's a good board to be on, especially coming up.
Yeah.
So,
Real good board to be on.
yeah, that's all the news I got. So I need a motion for the tentative agenda.
So moved.
Have a second? Got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
It's over.